Okay, so note down this next problem. So here block A is kept on the block B, and one fan is connected to the block A, and the string is passing over this pulley. Okay, so we have to find out the minimum value of the force P in the pan to start the motion. Okay, so how much weight we should add in this pan so that the motion will start. Okay, so for this problem we have two cases. Case one, the block A will slide on the block B. Okay, so we can consider this motion when block A moves over the block B. And second case is both the blocks, that is the block A and B, will move as a rigid object. Okay, so block A and B will simultaneously move when we apply the force P. This is the second condition. So consider the case one. So here block A slides on the block B, and for this condition block B will be stationary. Okay, so at this condition, when the block B will be stationary, at this contact surface, friction, it will be maximum friction. Okay, and it will completely restrict the motion of the block B. And therefore, when we apply the force P in the pan, only block A will slide on the block B. Okay, so by considering this condition, A slides on the block B, we will draw the free body diagram. So this is the block A. So on the block A, the force will be external force P. So this is the force P. Its angle is 30 degree. Next will be the self weight, which will act in the downward direction. So this weight is given. So A is 100 Newton. And weight of B is equal to 150 Newton. So this is 100 Newton. So now what is the impending motion for the block A? So block A will have the motion on the right side. So this is the impending motion. So frictional force will be exactly opposite to the impending motion. So this is the frictional force. And this is the F max. This is equal to the coefficient of friction is 0.3 into normal reaction. So this is normal reaction at the contact surface. So we will consider this as a N1. Okay, so 0.3 into N1. Okay, so only three forces. One is the self weight, second is the external force P, and third is the normal reaction N1. Now write the equation. Summation Fy equal to 0. So for that, we have to resolve the force, which is the force P along X and Y direction. So this is equal to P cos 30, and this is P sin 30. So for summation Fy, we have N1 on the positive Y side plus P sin 30 minus 100 Newton. This is 0. So you will get the equation N1 plus P sin 30. This is equal to 100. Then use summation Fx is equal to 0. So for summation Fx, we have this P cos 30 then minus this 0.3 N1. This is equal to 0. Okay. So solve equation 1 and 2 simultaneously. Just rearrange this equation. So this is 0.3 N1 minus plus P cos 30. This is equal to 0. So this is your second equation. So from these two equations, you will get the value for N1 . So the reaction N1, this is equal to okay, so force P is equal to 29.53 Newton. Okay, so if you add 29.53 Newton in this fan, then block A, it will slide on the block B. Okay, and block B, it will remain stationary. Consider the second condition. When both the blocks A and B will slide together as a rigid object. Okay, so when this condition is possible, so at the contact surface between block A and B, at this contact surface, if the friction is maximum compared to this friction, okay, then both the blocks will slide together. So we will consider the condition. That is the second case. A and B sliding together. So here we have to consider both the blocks and we have to draw the free body diagram. So consider the block A and this is the block B. Okay, so at this condition, there is no relative motion at this contact surface. So we will not consider any force at this contact surface. Just we have to consider the friction force at this contact surface. Okay, that is a contact surface between block B and the ground. So this is external force P, that is a weight in the pan. This angle is 30. Then this is the weight of the block A, which is equal to 100 Newton. This is the weight of block B, which is equal to 150. Then at this contact surface, there will be frictional force. So impending motion for both the blocks A and B, it is on the right side. So this is the frictional force. F max is equal to, so at this contact surface, coefficient of friction is given. This is equal to 0.1. Okay, so this is equal to 0.1 into normal reaction. So consider this normal reaction, which is the N2. Okay, so at this contact surface, we will not consider any force because there is no relative motion. Okay, so this contact we will assume as a rigidly connected to the block. Okay, so now resolve this force P. So this is P cos 30 and this is P sin 30. And then use summation fx and summation fy. So for summation fy, we have the N2, then plus P so N2 plus P sin 30 minus 100 minus 150. So we'll get the equation N2 plus P sin 30. This is equal to 250. Okay, consider this is equation 3. Then write summation fx0. So for summation fx0, we have 0.1, this is negative, into this force, then plus P cos 30 and equal to 0. Only two forces. So this is your fourth equation. Solve these two equations simultaneously. And you will get the value for the force P. So here force P, this is equal to 27.29 Newton. Okay, so if you compare the first condition where block A slides over the block B, you get the P value as a 29.53 Newton. And when A and B slides together, we get the value of P, this is equal to 27.29. Okay. So what is the answer for P minimum so that the motion will start? So question is given. We have to just start the motion. Okay. So it is not given in the problem that A should slide over the block B or A and B should slide together. So how to decide the correct answer from this two answers? So just imagine so you are performing this experiment physically, and this is the pan, and you are adding the weight. Okay, so initially there is no weight. After that, you start adding the weight 1 Newton, 2 Newton, 10 Newton. Okay, so initially you will reach this value, which is 27.29. Okay, so when we add 27.29 or just above this weight, just take 27.30. Okay, so for this weight, you can see that A and B, they will slide together. So this is the first motion observed. And therefore, the minimum value for the motion to start is 27.29. If you add more weight, and if the weight is 29 or 30, then block A, it will slide on the block B. Okay, but initially we will reach this value, and therefore this is the final answer, P minimum.